Hey, RetconRaider here. Today's video is dedicated to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible. With special thanks to Revenant, Alois, Anerdinwarpaint, Dragon Matrix 7, Eerie V23, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, Kazorm, Lima, Nathan Welch Jr., Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, let's get started. And welcome back to Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, as we kick things off with another quick level up sequence. There's not really a ton to say this time around. Level 9 is relatively tame, but we do get a new batch of feats to play with, so let's have a quick gander at what we're doing. First up, we've got Vex, who once again returns to his roots as a hunter. That nets him a couple of spell slots, but not much else. Skills are already pretty well set at this point, with Stealth now serving as our off skill. We'll be boosting it by 1 point on every even-numbered level. For his feat, we're going right for improved two-weapon fighting. It's taken us a while to get here, but now it's time to start cranking up our number of attacks per round. I do also have Accomplished Sneak Attacker on my list, but that one's waiting until level 13 or so. Vex's new spell is Aspect of the Bear. That grants a Bull Rush ability I'll probably never use, as well as modest boosts to Natural Armor and CMB. I'll admit, this is pretty much just for that +2 CMB, which will come in handy later down the line once we can make it a 24-hour cast. I did consider Chameleon Stride, which is a fun little stealth concealment buff, but I decided not to waste a slot on it because it will be completely obsolete once we have access to Greater Chameleon Stride. And that's it for Vex. Nothing particularly impressive this time around aside from the extra offhand attack, but it is important to remember that this also bumps Kaz up to level 9 as well. He is technically a class feature. Also worth noting, I was apparently mistaken on the bonus type for the Trickster skill bonuses. The +3 is actually a circumstance bonus, so it will stack with most other conventional skill bonuses. Next we've got Kaz, our resident murder cat. Level 9 is a little more notable for him, because it nets him the unique Bullying Thrill class ability. From now on, whenever he successfully trips an opponent, which happens quite frequently, he'll gain a +2 morale bonus on attack and damage rolls until the end of his next turn. This does come at the cost of multi-attack bonus, which means his secondary claw attacks are going to be less accurate than they would be if we had stuck with the normal animal companion archetype. But I feel like that's a fair trade-off. I think it's pretty obvious I went all in on the ankle biting. Oh, he also nets a +1 to will saves, which is a small but welcome bonus. Nothing notable on skills, but for his feat, we're grabbing Weapon Focus Bite. This serves a double purpose, because not only will it grant a +1 to hit with his primary bite attack, but it will also effectively grant an extra +1 CMB for all those trip attempts. Not too shabby. That's it for Kaz. Then we've got Regil, who grabs another level of Fearsome Leader. That nets him a +1 BAB, Reflex, and Will. He also pulls Cavalier's Charge and Fearmonger. Cavalier's Charge grants an extra +2 to hit when making mounted charges, while also removing the associated AC penalty. Fearmonger grants a very modest bonus to his Intimidation skill checks, which will eventually cap out at +4 once he hits level 18. For skills, we once again focus on Mobility and Persuasion. We're 2 levels from evening those out. After that, his extra skill points will go towards Perception. He's got a lot of solid options for his new feat, including stuff like Improved Crit and Improved Two-Weapon. But I'm actually going to prioritize Power Attack. That will grant him a scaling boost to damage, at the cost of some accuracy. But more importantly, it will also expedite the other Intimidation feats. We'll have Cornigan Smash, Dread Carnage, and Shatter Defenses by level 13. Since Law is trailing 1 level behind, he doesn't get a feat, but he does get +1 base attack bonus, Reflex, and Will. He also gets an extra attribute point, which will go right into Strength. That bumps him up to 26 total. Nothing notable on skills. As for Cam, not gonna lie, I didn't really put much thought into this. We're not going to be using her much beyond the Battle of Dresden, so we're just aiming for short-term bonuses that will help us in the here and now. As a Sanctified Slayer, she pulls +1 BAB, Fortitude, and Will, as well as her first Slayer talent. Basically an extra feat. Nothing particularly notable on skills, we're just keeping her focused on rogue stuff since we're still missing our resident Walgif. For her 2 feats, we're keeping this simple and snagging Accomplished Sneak Attacker for an extra 1d6 damage per attack, as well as Piranha Strike, which grants even more damage per swing, albeit at a modest penalty to hit. The penalty is a little rough for her, but we can offset that with her Enhance Weapon and Bain Weapon abilities. Her new spell will be Heroism, which is just all around great. We won't get to enjoy it for very long since she's about 2 episodes from being kicked into oblivion, but we'll enjoy it while it lasts. That's it for Cam. Likewise, we're not really going to do anything fancy with Helpful either. Like Kaz, Helpful pulls a flat +1 bonus to Will, as well as the Bullying Thrill class ability, and again, like Kaz, she'll also be snagging Weapon Focus Bite. What can I say? I like tripping. Then we've got Ember, who will forever be a permanent staple in our party and our hearts. She's sticking with the Stigmatized Witch class, which nets her more spell slots, as well as a +1 to Fortitude and Reflex. Her skills are pretty much set at this point, nothing notable there. And her new feat will be Greater Spell Penetration. I mentioned we'd be grabbing that a couple of episodes ago to maximize the benefits we get from Mythic Spell Pen. Now, I will say her future feats are likely to go towards stuff like Greater Elemental Focus and Greater Spell Focus to further improve her spell DCs. I'm undecided on metamagic right now, since as a spontaneous caster, using any metamagic on her spells outside of rods will turn casting into a full round action. That is very limiting. She gets 3 new spells, but we don't really have any decent fire spells to choose from this time, so we'll just grab some basic utility stuff instead. Her first new spell is False Life, which will give her some extra durability. Handy, given that all the enemies keep trying to chase her across the battlefield. Her second new spell is Vampiric Touch, which is pretty much just an in case of emergencies fallback spell. Her fourth new spell is Dimension Door, which doesn't really fit her normal trend of fire and death, but it's just a generally useful spell to have on tap, and it's pretty much mandatory for once we get into Act 4, though we do still have that wand to fall back on. And that's it for Ember. After that, we've got Darren, who I think is going to stick with us for the long haul. I have experimented with a few of the other potential healers, and Darren really just seems like the best fit for the somewhat awkward party roster we're headed towards. He also gets along with Vex, and that is a big plus. He, of course, will be sticking with the Oracle class. That nets him +1 to Fortitude and Reflex, as well as a boatload of new spells. Nothing notable on skills, though I will say that while his World Knowledge skill is not great right now, I do have my sights set on a couple of ways we can improve that later down the line. For his new feat, we're keeping him focused on his current support role by snagging Brew Potions. That's what I've been saving his Mythic feat for, which will likewise be going into Mythic Brew. We can't make full use of that just yet, since you can't actually get a max level brewing kit until much later in the game. But in the short term, this will allow us to start whipping up a modest assortment of handy draughts and curatives. For his new spells, we're starting with Grace. That's a nice little contingency for situations where he gets mobbed on the battlefield. His second spell will be Dispel Magic, which is an invaluable and long overdue addition to our arcane arsenal. His third spell will be Freedom of Movement, which is another handy addition to our arsenal, and just like Death Ward, it is compatible with brewing. Having a few potions of Death Ward and or Freedom of Movement should come in handy. That's it for Darren. Which brings us to Lan. And full disclosure, I didn't really put much thought into this one. We're probably phasing Lan out once we get into Act 3, and even if we weren't, I'd be doing a full respec on both him and Zorm. For now though, we're keeping him as a Demon Slayer, which grants +1 to BAB, Fortitude, and Reflex, as well as a second favored terrain. Skills are already set, with Religion falling a little behind, since Ember is taking lead in that department. For his new feat, Lan will grab Improved Crit, a nice basic bonus that we can get a little mileage out of during the Battle of Dresden. If I were to keep him long-term, though, I'd probably grab Snapshot instead, so he could start leveraging the Combat Reflexes feat that he inexplicably started with. His new favorite terrain is the Abyss. That's slightly meta on my part. I'm snagging those because I already know the next couple of times we're hanging out with them will be underground and in the Abyss respectively. The bonuses are pretty minor anyway, so I don't really mind cheesing that. And that's pretty much it for Lan. Which finally brings us to the mighty Zorm, who I will miss once we phase him out, but it's probably for the best. It has been fun running with a boatload of animal companions, but we are going to be paring that down slightly as we head into Act 3. I do have a fun surprise or two planned in that regard, but I'm keeping that under wraps for the time being. As a level 9 aggressor, Zorm gets +1 will and the multi-attack ability, which greatly improves his chance to hit with his secondary attacks. It would have been nice to have that on Kaz too, but like I said, we went all in on the ankle biting with him, which I do not regret. Skills are largely irrelevant. Again, if I were to do a full respec, I would be cranking up Persuasion for the associated Intimidation feats. However, since in his current form he is not Intimidation compatible, his feat will just be going into something arbitrary instead. Weapon Focus Bite. I will note, though, that I am going to do a complete respec for Lan and Zorm at some point, likely while they're enjoying their downtime in Act 3. And with that, the party is officially level 9. We've obviously still got some other companions that also need attention, but they're not with us, so that will have to wait until later. That said, we now return you to the Battle of Dresden, already in progress. Okay, let's check out that secret door. Any time now? There we go. Rod of Mysticism. Up to 3 spells per day cast from the Oracle or Cleric spell list are maximized. Functions with spells of 6th level or lower. Very nice. We will, of course, toss that to our resident Oracle. Maxed out cure spells are always handy. And then we also pulled a letter. Let's have a peek at that. A letter from Dresden. A bit on the longer side. But it does look like it might be relevant to what we're doing here, so... yeah, let's give it a read. Lady Galfrey, Dresden has fallen. The city is lost, and may you be damned. May you be damned for sending us here, for not telling us that the worst fate isn't death, for promising the protection of your holy banner, which did not save us from the monsters, for not being with us. Where were you when the squad of smiling knights was dying, but did not cry for mercy, but held the pathetic little street leading to the temple? Where were you when our blood filled the gutters and mixed with the sewage? Where were you when our will and our spirit was broken, beaten, and left sobbing like a wharf wench? Dude, your throne is built upon the corpses of naive fools and adventurers hungry for glory. I realized this when the demons brought Commander Verstal into the square and threw him into Sarenrae's healing fount, and then lit a fire beneath it. The commander was boiling alive for 3 days, while Sarenrae's once merciful, but now cruel blessing prevented him from dying. His skin was covered with blisters and slid off his flesh. We stood in the square and watched, the cold wind torturing our own naked bodies. Our blood flows from our wounds as if it's trying to flee this horrible place. Deprived of water, our throats crack and bleed. Deprived of food, our stomachs dry out and wither. For 3 days, the commander could not die. His meat grew gray and smelled so sweet. I hated myself for wanting to taste it. Commander Verstal stopped screaming by the first midnight. By dawn, he could only grunt. On the third morning, this stern man, who had no mercy for himself or his enemies, was crying like a baby. His tears were endless. He was literally cooking in them. Then the fount finally cracked, and he died. The new ruler of Dresden, the demoness Minago, dined on his flesh. But she was not greedy. Each of us prisoners, tortured with hunger, received a piece of the commander. Do you know what a person cooked alive for 3 days smells like, Galfrey? Writing this pains me greatly. Some terrible insect stung my hand during the battle. Now it has swelled to twice its normal size, and it's the color of raw beef. The skin is about to burst. The heat is melting me, body and soul. But I will finish this letter so you will know all, because there will be at least a drop of justice in this, if you are brought to understand what has happened to us because of you. When I finish writing, the demon will send the letter to you, with the last of the charmed doves you gave to Commander Verstal. They ate the others. This letter will earn me a chance. I will crawl at their feet and beg for mercy. I will give any oath, because I can't take it anymore. Enough is enough. And may you be damned. Not your loyal servant anymore. Knight German. Wow, that was awful. But also very illustrative of why we need to take down Minago. A couple of interesting takeaways. First, we got some name drops. The Smiling Knights, Commander Verstal, and Knight German. Yeah, I'm gonna guess this is Knight German right here. Also, given that we found it tucked away in a back room in Dresden, I'm going to assume they did not, in fact, send it to Galfrey. They were probably just stringing Knight German along, getting him to debase himself, before eventually just finishing him off. The demons did their best to destroy all traces of the worship of the good gods that they so loathe. The statue of Iomade rises above the desecrated paraphernalia of the temple. Let's check these side rooms. Nothing of note. A trap. Oh, and an ambush. Well, that's fun. Oh, hold on. Vrock's Votary in the initiative lineup. That is a problem. Those guys have access to powerful battle magic. Let's get eyes on. There he is. Okay, we need to get someone on him before he starts casting. Can we? No, too far. That was not worth the time I took doing it. Crud.
Out of my sight.
All right, brace for impact. Oh, that wasn't bad. I thought he would hit us with Greater Shout or Blade Barrier. Instead, he just tried to disintegrate Zorm. Hi there. I'm going to need you to cut that out. Go away. Careful. Oh, come on. There we go. Relatively painless. Oh, don't do that.
I am helpful, am I not?
Yeah, thanks, Cam. Nothing of note. I'm not going to question that bloodstain. Moving on. Looks like a dead end on the right. Yep. And an incubi. Incubi bye. Oh, that's fine.
You've crossed the wrong mongrel.
Turns out there's plenty more where that one came from. There's another one. Slightly different wardrobe. Might imply he's tougher. Too far. We'll just have her move up.
I'll cut you wide open.
I guess a shirt doesn't really make you all that stronger. Oh, I have been informed that apparently the Quarterstaff of Coercion does boost the DC of mind-affecting hexes, so I might have to work that back into Ember's loadout. Ah, Bismuth. I've been waiting for this. Hey, he's got a background now, too. The gnomish sorcerer Bantam Benares crafted this figurine after visiting the continent of Garund. He was enchanted by the dinosaurs there, and decided he needed one for himself. Sadly, the mighty dinosaurs made unsuitable pets, so he decided instead to make his own dinosaur as a figurine of wondrous power. While researching the techniques required to craft these figurines, he found that none of them depicted dinosaurs of any sort, and the path to acquiring one as a pet would be even more complicated than he previously imagined. Bantam created at least 3 wyvern figurines as first drafts before his efforts were finally rewarded. With the creation of this Bismuth statuette, Bantam finally had a cute dinosaur pet that he could ride. Well, that is a very sweet story, and also a fun callback to Kingmaker, where I think you could find three wyvern figurines. Unlike those wyverns, this is not just a simple summon. The Triceratops statuette will actually attach an animal companion to a character who keeps it active in their belt slot. As stated here, it follows the same rules as a druid animal companion, total character level -4, but you can actually enhance it with boon companion and mythical beast. You can also equip it with some gear, but not barding, because you have no control over its level ups, so sadly there's no way to force it to take the appropriate barding proficiencies. Despite those limitations, it's a very fun item, and one that I'll probably end up giving to Waljev, just to help make him more mobile. That is one of the 2 surprises I had regarding animal companions for our future loadout. I didn't realize we were going to find it so quickly. It's been a while since I've done the Battle of Dresden. I do have one more surprise in store, but that's going to be like 20 episodes from now. So, you know, we'll just put a pin in that for now. Okay, I think we're done in here. Let's head back out to the streets. And I think we've got enough time to clear those ash giants, the ones bombarding our troops. Oh, hi there. Well, this is slightly problematic. These guys aren't too tough, but they might confuse us. Hell Knight's confused. And poisoned. Nice. Nice, nice. I really like how Kaz tripped it, pulling it downward so Vex could reach it to decapitate it. That was a nice sequence.
I will see to your demise.
Good effort, guys. We'll take it from here.
The spirits demand your blood.
Fear not, my friends. Your sacrifice was not in vain. I'll get like 1,500 gold for this stuff.
Smile, the world's not ending just yet.
Crush these freaks. I admire your spirit. Also, I notice you're slowly melting from the inside out, so, you know, hold on to that. Oh, nice. Yes, this is just where we need to be. We can use this to get up on the wall. Right, right. And that's where we were before. That's the courtyard in front of the temple. I'll have to remember to come back for that body. Frock? Rock and roll! Yeah, there we go. That is exactly what we're looking for. Bonk. We're getting some weirdness on the ramp.
Endure this!
Alright, well, we'll just do it this way. Why are you tripping?
Precision and grace.
Vex is stunned. But we're fine. And those guys don't seem to notice us, which is hilarious. I guess that's what happens when you wear helmets with no peripheral vision. Clear the spores. There we go. And remount.
Close ranks.
Ow. Rude. Oof. That hurt. Actually. That saved us some time. Hold on. There's something wrong with Darren. Ah, he's encumbered. Alright, well, let's pop the bracers off. He doesn't really get much out of those anyway. Moving up. I think we've got 2 more giants.
A goat, a lizard, and a human enter a tavern. What'll it be, Lamb? The bartender asks.
Lan, you've got to work on the timing there, buddy.
Retreat is not an option.
Bye. Thankfully, they quickly discarded all of their worn gear before they fell. It's surprisingly considerate. Must be part of the cultist cannon fodder operating procedure. Oh, stop. Okay, let's do this. You know what? That is not what I was going for. Well, I guess there's no stopping it now. Yeah, what I meant to do was carefully move Ember next to Camellia, and then dimension door them both across the trap so she could disarm it. And then this happened. Also, it looks like Helpful has ash leprosy, so we should probably do something about that.
Trust in yourself.
Is that our highest religion? Oh, land is slightly higher. Lovely. You hear the creaking of opening gates somewhere nearby. Where could that be coming from? Could it possibly be the gate underneath this gatehouse? No, that's silly. There's giant number 2. Ow. Oh, we've got some archers here too. Busy cluttering up our approach. Reactivate the Covenant. That thing keeps turning off. Oh. We can catch a break here, but don't let your guard down. The siege is not over. Oh, wow. I guess it was just 2 giants.
I'll make short work of this.
You are today's sacrifice.
Hope that guy gets severance pay.
I welcome your company.
Okay, so that's it for catapults. But we've still got some all ahead of us, so let's finish clearing it. Farewell! Okay, let's be careful this time.
You can trust me.
no traps. Get down from there. Yeah, so we did have more towers, but no giants on these. Bye. Maybe they reduced the number of giants between beta and launch. Alright, let's not do that. Thank you, Cam. Just to clarify, Cam doesn't care about Ember. She just likes throwing people off walls.
Kneel before me.
Bye. I love that. Oh. Well, howdy. That was a very dynamic entrance.
Go for their hearts!
Oh. Well, this might be a slight problem. Ember.
My sight.
I'll cut you wide open!
Death by crit storm. Boo.
The spirits demand your blood!
Aw. Well, we won. I guess that's good enough. Blech. Alright, now we've got another route down to the lower city, which should be safe now that we've taken out the catapults. So we'll probably head down there next just to sweep up all that extra loot. Hey guys.
I will see to your eyes.
That's more like it. I will never get tired of that. Holy Light Crossbow +1. I mean, 2d6 extra damage isn't something to sneeze at. What have we got on Darren? Right, the Crossbow of Judgment. We'd lose +1 to hit, but we'd gain massive damage potential. Yeah, let's swap those out for a bit. Okay, wall's clear. Siege engines have stalled out. let's head down and get ourselves a foothold in the lower city. Then I think we'll be at a good stopping point. I don't like that they're not showing us the skill check values in advance. We've also got something on that rooftop across from us. Nabasu's votary. These guys are pretty weak.
Battle formation.
We've also got an interior location. That indicates a tougher optional fight.
This one's mine.
Look at that guy, just lying there all cobblestoned out of his mind.
The world in crimson.
Oop, let's not go any further that way. We're close to time, so I don't want to get into another big fight just yet. In fact, let's call it here. I'm pretty much out of time anyway. That aside, we did accomplish everything we set out to do. We took care of those level ups, we found Bismuth, that was a nice bonus. And we also cleared the walls and stopped the literal rain of fire. We even cleared ourselves a little foothold down here in the lower city as a bonus, poised right on the doorstep of an optional boss fight. That said, we will hit the pause button for now, but we will pick up here next time as we clear out the lower city. Should be some really nice loot and XP. Not to mention one other specific thing I'm looking for. But we will get to that next time. See you then. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Pathfinder, Wrath of the Righteous, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website, the official social media feeds, or the official store pages. And if you'd like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things, or maybe even check out the Patreon. Links are in the description.
I'll make short work of this.